It's Tyler TJX Survival, and I want to talk to you today about bullpups and the Desert Tech Mdrx, so stick with me. So this is a new gun to me that I've had for 2 or 3 months. I've probably put a few thousand rounds through it, zeroed it in, played with it quite a bit. And I kind of just want to talk to you about the Mdrx, show you what it is, how it works, and why I chose it. First off, I know that there's 2 color tones. I did that on purpose. My eventual goal with this weapon system is to have multiple colors. So I'm eventually going to spray can, rattle can this like I did some of the kit in the military. And I wanted it to be a different tone, mainly because it doesn't look like an AR-15, right? The old black gun that everyone's afraid of. I don't want it to look specifically like that. I want it to look in a way where if someone sees it, they kind of say, what is that? And I think that'll OODA loop a little bit of the type of people who are anti-gun. It will also kind of disrupt the thought process when it comes to seeing something like this. So let's talk about what is a bullpup first and why are they valuable? Well, a bullpup essentially takes that action that is normally right here in front of the trigger system and moves it back to the back of the gun. So what this gives me is an overall shorter length firearm. If I had this length gun and I moved that action forward, it would now be about that long, okay? That would take this short overall, I don't know how long this thing is. It's got a 16-inch barrel inside of it, and if we compare my 10-inch SBR to this 16-inch Mdrx, my 10-inch SBR is 1 battle comp length longer. It's about 2 inches longer, okay? And this is a 10-inch short-barreled rifle. Yes, I can make this into a 7-inch short-barreled rifle, but I'm losing accuracy. For CQB, that's not so much of a bad thing. And I know right now in its existing configuration, 250 meter 5-inch plates are pretty easy to hit with this, and I've done that pretty regularly. And yes, it collapsed down for storage that makes it smaller, but even with the collapsed barrel, we're only 4 or 5 inches shorter overall length than this 10-inch SBR. So this is kind of the gold standard for a short-barreled rifle or a short gun. And keep in mind, it doesn't function here. I have to lengthen this out in order to make it run. But when compared to this 308, larger caliber, basically two MOA gun that's essentially a sniper rifle that can also be used as a battle rifle in an urban environment, I would assume the positive attributes are self-evident. I get a long-range sniper type gun that can be used as a battle gun in an urban environment that's in a short platform that's almost 2 inches shorter than my 10-inch SBR when fully extended, and only 4 inches longer than my 10-inch SBR when collapsed. So that's the major value. I get this short little gun that does long gun jobs. Now, we'll talk about what I did on this one specifically. I put a USO, US Optics 2.5 to 20 power scope on it because I want this to be a long range gun. I want to be able to sit down in the desert and stomp pronghorn with it. I want to be able to shoot anything I can see in an urban environment if I ever, heaven forbid, have to do that. And I also want to be able to hit hard. So this 308, I'll be able to buy ammunition in fairly large volume at kind of a low price. Shooting NATO ammunition almost always is going to guarantee that you can get ammunition cheaper and that it's going to be available. And shooting the 308 lets me know that if I'm going to hit something, it's going to punch through it. I did a bulletproofing course with Griffin Group Security Solutions on my first deployment to Afghanistan many years ago. And one thing that we did is we took 9 45, 40, 308, 223 AK rounds, and we shot them at stuff, right? We looked at how many bullets it took to break through cinder blocks, how many bullets it took to go through windows, the double pane windows in the front of a vehicle, how many bullets it takes to go through car doors, and we just shot the crap out of a lot of stuff. My big takeaway is that AK punches through just about anything, and it drops really heavy. So yeah, it's a heavy hitter, but it doesn't shoot really far. The 223 is decent, it's lightweight, you get a lot of ammunition, but I actually watched a 223 or a 5.56 AR or M4 round penetrate the first window in the double laminate window of a car and then turn and hit the A pillar. So it didn't even bust through that window, where the pistol rounds, because they weighed more, would always penetrate that front window and then splash. So with that in mind, I chose the 308 and the bullpup and the long range setup that does short range work purposely so that I can do the most things with a minimal amount of guns. Let's talk a little bit about this front grip. This is a Mantis grip. It's made for Desert Tech, not by Desert Tech. I think the company is called Black Label. The cool thing about this is it's got integrated bipods, very similar to the M60 for those of you who have ever used that. And when they fold up, it takes a second here. When they fold up, they're very sleek. They feel like the actual foregrip of the firearm. I've also added a Picatinny rail to the bottom with an arc Swiss attachment so that I can attach this to some field optics research tripods. This gives me the ability to sit it on something that I can just hold it with, right? Tighten it up and leave it there on target, and then use a spotting scope to find elk or deer or whatever it is that I want to shoot, and then come right back to the tripod and have it be on target. One of the cool things about the field optics research tripods is you can loosen up, adjust, tighten, and it gives me a super stable platform to shoot within. I really like tripods because a lot of people think sniper type work, and I'm not a sniper. I have been involved in some of the training, but a lot of people think that the sniper work is always on your belly. While a majority of it is, the reality is a big portion of sniper work is overwatch. A big portion of sniper work is sitting in a Indian style position, sitting up on your butt, or standing up offset from a window that has a shade, and doing some level of overwatch. And having a very strong, stable, yet lightweight tripod system is super valuable to me because it gives me options. The other thing about this Mantis grip right here is it just pops up real quick, right? I can drop it, and then I can just set my firearm on the ground. And then lastly, and I'll mention this, when you're running a suppression system or a suppressor, silencer, whatever we're going to call it this week, there's an adjustment right here to mess with the gas to increase it or decrease it so that you don't have too much blowback for over cycling, or you don't have not enough for non-cycling. So it's adjustable there, and it kind of vents so that this barrel has the ability to cool itself off. So, and then lastly, the Mantis here has the ability to tighten this up here, and this tightens up the rotation or loosen it up, right? So right now it's getting tighter, and that keeps it from rocking, right? It won't go, I have to push kind of hard to go left and right. If I loosen it up, it's super soft. So it gives you a level of tension that you may or may not want, depending if you're offset on, I don't know, if you're offset on shooting around something, or if you're on a non-flat area. So that's super valuable. So my initial thoughts on the Mdrx specifically, I really like how ambidextrous it is because I can hand it off if needed. And essentially what you can do is right here, this little guy here is the forward eject device. So as I shoot, the shell comes forward. What that does is it gives me the ability to shoot left-handed right here, right? Without catching it in the face, it's going to throw forward. Now I can completely take it off, and then it's going to throw the shells straight out, right? And I can completely switch this side device, this device right here, with this device right here, and then it will throw the shells forward from that left side, right? So the safety has a solid detent. I can feel it when I move it. It's got a pretty amazing trigger given the fact that it's a bullpup. Bullpups are fairly renowned for having squishy trash triggers, and that's largely because they are pulling instead of pushing, and I might have those two backwards. The trigger system in here pushes instead of pulls, and what that does is it makes for a more crisp trigger when you shoot it. Again, on the ambidextrous front point, right, I can run this with my right hand, I can run this with my left hand. Gives me a lot of options. One thing that's really cool is the mag release. I can either use the mag release right here with my trigger finger, or, and you can see it actuating right there, or I can just reach it right here and kind of AK-47 mag release style it. So if I put this in here, I just grab that, pop right out, right? And to show you what I'm doing, pushing this piece right here, and then popping it right out. Overall, I've heard a lot of complaints about some of the malfunctioning with the forward ejecting port, but I haven't seen it. And I think if you're being a little bit violent, right? If you're actuating it like you would a machine gun, if you're being a little forceful, not too much, but forceful enough to let it cycle, you won't see those problems. If you do see those problems and it really becomes an issue, they have a replacement piece here that is a side eject piece that instead of ejecting it forward will come out, or you can just take the thing off and it will eject straight out the side. I haven't seen it as an issue. To each their own. All right, guys, this is my initial review of the Mdrx from Desert Tech and the Mantis scope and the US optics. I bought all of this stuff. I got a discount from the gun itself through Desert Tech. I purchased the US optics on my own, and the Vortex scope rings. This is the cantilever scope rings. Overall, it's a phenomenal gun. I like it. It's been a lot of fun to play with, and you will see this in future videos, and you'll see me do some future content. I want to get a can I can run on this thing, take it hunting, put it through its paces a little bit more, and do a follow-up review in the future. All right, guys, hopefully this is valuable to you. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and thank you for watching.